Hey everybody, I'm glad to see y'all again. We are still talking about dating after 40, exciting stuff because I did it for a long time and finally got married at 47, which was great. And I learned some good stuff. So I'm excited to share more with you. We've talked already in the first couple of parts of this series about some of the tools like apps and events that you can, use to meet dates. We've talked about opening your heart, which is one of the big ones and maybe one of the more challenging parts of it. So that's kind of foundational and really important. Today we're going to dig into some nitty-gritty practical tips, like some scripts to use when you need to tell people you don't want to see them anymore, or you want to start a conversation. Like we kind of hit all of it. So we are going to start with starting a conversation, looking for red flags, and then how to say no if you're like, no, I'm not interested. So, and how to be kind about it, which is really important. So some of these tips I discovered on my own, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I hired a dating coach. I worked with a dating coach. It was probably by the time I was like 44 or 5. I had been dating for a long time, and I'd even done like the heart opening. Like I was like, gosh, I feel like I'm doing everything, but I've missed something. Still missing. Like what else could be missing? Maybe it's me. And a friend of mine said, hey, I want you to check out this coach. Her name is Kira Saban, and I'll put her link here because she's still doing some coaching. So, and she was great. What she really helped with was like uncovering some of those things that maybe you're doing, right? Like it's hard to, you kind of always want to blame it on like, oh, there's no one good to date, or they're not good at it, or I don't know. It's kind of their fault. And at some point in their life, you might be looking like, well, maybe there's something I'm doing. I've worked to my heart opening. I've worked on these things and I'm still not quite right. I can't quite get it. What else? What am I missing? And so Kira was great at helping me see some blind spots that I had, helping me work through some of my, some of my blocks, still some of the heart opening stuff, but then also just some tactical things that really helped you build confidence and feel good about being like honest with people and being vulnerable with people, which is really important when you're getting to know someone, and how to let people be vulnerable and help them do that with you. So there were just some really great practical things I enjoyed learning from working with her. She has a new program that she's kind of moved away from specifically focusing on dating. So she's got this new program, which you probably think, well, cool. It's really cool. It's called Thrive, and it's like thriving after 40. So it's kind of like I'm talking about dating and she's going to be talking about everything. So it's really neat. She's really expanded her work. So again, I'll share a link to that in the description here, but I think it's one you might want to check out because I got some good stuff working with her. So the dating coach really opened my eyes to some things that I could do differently to be a better dater. And I'm going to hit those for you right now. So number one, we're going to talk about starting conversations. And I mean, this was like hard for me. Like when I'm on the dating apps, I was like, man, this is weird. People, some apps, like guys could reach out to you. So you'd have to talk to them and you're not sure like what to talk about or how to keep this conversation flowing. It can be hard to do it online. We're getting better at it. We text all the time, but with a stranger, it can be really difficult. And I actually had a lot of success with Bumble because I liked it because I got to start the conversation. So I sort of got to, drive the conversation, be the facilitator. I wanted to be good at it. So I could kind of lead that, a person down the path of having a good conversation. So I really took it seriously. And that's how I met my husband, John. So we met on Bumble. But I was kind of stumped. I'd been on there for a while and I was like, trying things like, hey, I would ask questions, or something like that. And I found like, I would say like, oh, hey, so tell me about motorcycle riding or whatever. And because that's how I would talk to my friends, tell me more about this. I said, notice this. And they like, I don't know. I think guys just didn't want to have that conversation right up front. Like, you throw them like, hey, tell me about this thing. Like, that I read in your profile, and they're kind of like, okay, I got to go into that. That was how I was imagining them. And so I just wasn't getting a ton of responses that way. And I thought, okay, I've got to start my conversations differently. And, being a marketer, I was like, let me rethink this. Let me think about my audience. Like, what's their mindset? So I took a step back, and I used to do improv, and like, it's fun to be into character. So I was like, I'm going to be in this character of like a guy at a bar. I'm just going to embody that character. And like, what would happen if I saw hot lady sitting at the bar and I wanted to talk to her? How would I start this conversation? And I was like, I doubt it would be like, oh, hey, I see you're reading a book. Tell me more about that book. It's kind of like, no, I don't want to summarize my book for you. What they do that I thought about was they start with a compliment, right? So they'll walk up to you and they'll be like, hey, I mean, they can be something like, hey, pretty lady, can I buy you a drink? Like, that's literally it. And you're like, oh, thanks. Okay, thanks for noticing how pretty I am. And yes, you can buy me a drink. And it gets it started, right? And the next thing you know, the conversation goes. So I started to think, I was like, that's what they do. Or they'll say, oh, are you a Pirates fan? And I see you're watching, like, can I buy you a drink? Like, it's always that kind of thing. So they start with a compliment and then they, suggest you have a drink or meet up or whatever. And then it goes from there. So I said, I'm going to use this tactic. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. So I started a little routine where I would look at their profile and I would see something about them. Could be like if I did see, I don't know, they were on a motorcycle. There's so many pictures of people on motorcycles. But I wouldn't say like, oh, hey, it looks like you ride motorcycles. I mean, that's like, again, the boring conversation of like, tell me about motorcycles. So I would give them a compliment based on like a trait that I imagine they have because they rode motorcycles. So I'd always say, hey, you look blank. I'd love to get together and meet you or get to know you better. So I would be like, hey, you look really adventurous. I would love to meet you. Like, it was really that simple. It's basically the, hey, pretty lady, can I buy you a drink? But I was like, hey, you look like, I mean, sometimes if there's like really not a lot of information, I would just say, hey, you look like a lot of fun. I would love to get together and meet for ice cream, because we talked about this magical ice cream date in another video. But, I would just put it out there. That was my baseline one, was like, hey, you look like you're a lot of fun. I'd love to get together to grab an ice cream or a coffee. It gets that simple. And they, one, are flattered. Guys don't get a lot of compliments, bless their hearts. I don't think they do. So they're like, what? She thinks I look fun or adventurous or smart or whatever you want to tell them, something really nice that can be pretty broad. And then, you kind of prompted them with like, do you want to go get ice cream? And they're going to go, yeah. And then they'll, want to chit chat a little bit, but I always try to nudge them to go actually be on a date. So that's it. It's kind of, that was just one of my favorite tactics. So I recommend you try it. My script is, hey, you look blank. Just a trait, a quality that's someone would be flattered to hear. Like, you look smart, you look adventurous, you look interesting, which could be kind of anything. Fun is always a good one, because who doesn't want to look fun? And then ask them to do the thing. So that's my starting a conversation tip. The second thing I'll talk about is red flags. So let's say you start a conversation and you're going on a date. This is great news. You got a date. So we're going on this date, and the red flag thing is rough, because I think, and actually Kira taught me this too, people red flag a lot of stuff that really shouldn't be red flagging. We're really hard and critical of these, bless their hearts, like these guys are so nice. And we're tough. I don't think it's a red flag if they drink their coffee weird. Like, you see, like, well, I don't know. He drank his coffee weird and I don't want to go out with him anymore. Like, that's really not enough. Because you know what? When you get married, you're not thinking about how they're drinking their coffee. You're thinking about, like, what are they going to do when the dogs get out of the fence? What's going to happen when there's, like, leaves in the gutters and we have to deal with that? Or, things in life that you have to deal with. This is the stuff you need to find out about, how they're going to handle it if your car breaks down. How will they help you? How will you help them? So this is the kind of the stuff that you really want to find out. And you need to get to, like, second and third dates to find that out. So my advice is, like, don't jump to red flagging people too fast, and don't make it all the superficial stuff, unless it's something really like, I couldn't live with that. They chewed weird. One time, okay, here's a quick funny story. I was dating John, and we got milkshakes, and he started slurping his milkshake like really loud, and I was like, oh, that's it. Like, I mean, this was not a first date. This was multiple dates, and I thought, well, we're gonna have to break up now because I can't live with that. And then he goes, I'm just messing with you. I was just trying to, I read somewhere that I hated that, and he was trying to mess with me and see if it could get me to call him out. But anyway, made me laugh. He's very funny. So yeah, red flags. I would go lean towards green flags. Look for green flags instead of red flags. Look for vulnerability. I mean, that's a really good one. I think a lot of times we also criticize people for being, hey, he was too honest or too nice or whatever. But really what a lot of times is, that's vulnerability. When they tell you the truth, they tell you about themselves, and don't be so quick to judge it. Also, a key thing to remember is you can't really, like I said, you can't get to that vulnerability and that honesty and understand what someone's like on the first date. Everyone's nervous. They're afraid they're saying the wrong thing. They may not say anything that's really necessarily deep down true about them. You may not learn about their values yet because they're just nervous to be there talking about surface level stuff. So unless it's a big one, like they definitely want to have kids and you don't want to have kids or something like that, where you're like, that's just never going to work for me, I would say give them a second or third date. So don't be so quick to red flag. And, if you are going to like know exactly what your deal breakers are, and they have to be pretty strong, otherwise go on the second or third date and see and learn more about this, this nice person who's spending time with you. Okay, so we talked about how to start a conversation, how to like not be insane about your red flags and just kind of relax and save those for the really, really red ones. And the last thing is how to end things. This is like honestly my favorite script that I learned from Kira. She straight up told me this when I used it with success regularly. So when you're done, you're like, I'm not interested in seeing this person again. I want a one date. Maybe there were red flags, or you want a second, third date and you're done, but you want to be kind because we're nice human beings. We want to be kind and honest, and we don't want to ghost people. We all know what that feels like. It feels crappy. So how can you do this though in like a gentle, kind way? So she gave me the script, and the script was to say, you might say like, hey, Kevin, thanks for having coffee with me. I'm not interested in moving forward. That's just it. I'm not interested in moving forward. That was the line. And it just changed everything for me. I'm not interested in moving forward. They can't argue with that. It's a fact. They're not going to try to persuade you to change your mind. You just said the deal, like, I'm not interested in moving forward. So I surprisingly got like the nicest notes back from people that said, thank you for being honest. I really appreciate that. And they were just so like, it also leaves them with kind of a nice feeling about you because you were honest with them and you told them what was up. And don't drag it out too long. Definitely like, go on the second or third date to see if the red flags show up. But if you're not feeling it, like do it pretty soon. I'm not interested in moving forward. The other tip that I will add to this that I learned is that I tried to be honest. So it can be really easy to do that thing where you like are too nice and then you say, I'm not interested, where you're giving a mixed message. So you don't want to do something like, I really enjoyed having dinner with you, but I'm not interested in moving forward. Like that's confusing because you're like, but I thought, wait, you just said you had a good time and now I want to know why, because, so I would never say anything that wasn't true. Now, if I had a really great time, maybe it was honest. Sometimes I'll just say, it was nice to meet you, because that's true. I didn't like work, they aren't excited about, like, I didn't say, oh my God, I had such a fun dinner or such a fun time bowling. It was just like, it was nice to meet you. Thanks for having coffee with me. And then I'm not interested in moving forward, and that's it. No, sorry. Don't apologize for it. Don't apologize. They'll think maybe you're going to regret it and they try to get in again. So just be straightforward. Something honest about a fact that you did this. Thanks for taking me bowling. I'm not interested in moving forward. And that's it. It's like no big deal. And once you get the hang of it, like it'll feel weird the first time you do it, but once you get the hang of it, you'll get good at it, and then they'll really appreciate it. You'll appreciate your honesty and not dragging things out. So those are the big keys that I learned. There's so much I learned from working with Kira, but and any dating coach is going to help you because it just really helps you get down to the nitty gritty. So you're going to be able to uncover where you uniquely are having struggles, maybe things you're saying that are weird or that, aren't helpful, or mixed messages you might be sending. That's a big one. And, you'll learn some of these tips and these scripts and these things that will help you make dating so much easier, so much more fun, because you're going to have more success. And, by having the good conversation starting, knowing when to keep it going and when to end it and how to end it is going to help you kind of expedite the process so that you can date, quickly, successfully. And then, because of that heart opening, you're going to know which one is the one. And that's the one that you really kind of dive into. So hopefully all this stuff is helpful. We're just kind of layering on and we have more to go. So the next episode, I cannot remember what it's about, but it's going to be really fun. I'm loving sharing all of this stuff because dating after 40 is a whole unique thing. And so thanks for being here with me and listening. And so check out the first 2 episodes and there'll be more coming. So we've got probably like 8 or so of these things, of things I've learned. So I'm excited to share with you, and let me know if you've used any of these scripts and have success with them, because I'm just curious how it goes. So feel free to try it out.